Can Carson Beck bite back? It's college football smothered and covered.
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into today's show. My name is Barrett Sallee. Of course, you can follow me on all the social media accounts, BarrettSallee. You can see the font right there if you're watching on YouTube. Today's show brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. That's right. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. We do have a big show today. It is Thursday, which means it is time to shine. We'll go through all of the teams, players, coaches, fan bases, everybody whose time to shine. Gotta have it this weekend. Thank you for making this your first listen. We'll talk about the SMU Stangs. Of course, got a lot going on in Dallas, Metro Dallas, Rocket Sanders in South Carolina. Big game this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about the Colorado Buffaloes. But first, time to shine. Keep saying this every single week, it seems. It's Carson Beck's time to shine. The dude has been awful. I'm not talking like awful for a Heisman Trophy contender. Awful. 12 interceptions over the last 6 games is inexcusable. If Carson Beck's name was Peyton Thorne, he would have been benched a long time ago. I'm not even joking about that. Carson Beck is a liability and has been a liability for the majority of the season. And so now they roll in to the Tennessee game. The orange and white rolling down from Rocky Top, trying to maintain their place in the college football playoff rankings, and at the same time eliminate their rival in Georgia. Carson Beck, dude, it's on you. It's on you. I don't care that the offensive line is a disaster, especially last week. It seems to be regressing. I don't care that the rushing attack has been MIA basically all season, even after Trevor Etienne got back from his 1-game suspension. I don't care that you don't have a wide receiver named Ladd McConkey and a tight end named Brock Bowers. I don't care that the downfield threat doesn't exist. Find it. Find one. If you need to take unnecessary risks early in the game, do it. Clearly, late in the game, especially last week against Ole Miss, he was all over the place taking risks. Fine. He should have done that. But it's time to panic for a full 4 quarters. When Tennessee shuts down that rushing attack, which it will early, it will be on Carson Beck. Even though Arian Smith hasn't caught a cold this year, give him one more chance. Chuck it deep like Paul Blake did for the Texas State Fighting Armadillos in Necessary Roughness, and just trust that Featherstone, Stone Hands, Arian Smith will pull a rabbit out of his hat and actually catch a football. Find Lawson Lucky more. He's been sort of a Brock Bowers-ish safety valve in the sense that when things break down, you can find him and he can do some things. Not like Brock, but he can do some things. But you got to let it go. You got to let it fly if you're Brock Bowers or if you're Carson Beck. There's no other option because all of the flaws that exist on this team, they've existed all year and they ain't going away. So Carson Beck, it is your time to shine. We'll also go with a team that controls its destiny. Big 12. Never thought I'd say it, but Deion Sanders, it is your time to shine. I didn't buy into the Deion thing on the field. I never did. When he got hired, I was like, this is stupid. This is gonna get you some buzz, and the first year, you're gonna get some recruits. You're gonna put yourself back on the map if you're Colorado, and then you're just gonna be sort of okay. You might be a 6-6 team, and that's it. And the experiment will fail to an extent that you're not going to be successful in the field. The PR aspect was the goal, and he's been successful in that. But now they host Utah. Big noon Saturday or 10 a.m. local time. Is that game 10 a.m.? That game's at 10 a.m. local time. Whew. Early wake-up call. Deion's been in a situation like this before. At this look, the Celebration Bowl 2 years ago, Jackson State. What an amazing bowl game that was, the HBCU National Championship game. They didn't get the job done, but the lights were shining as bright as they could on Jackson State, the HBCU world, Shedeur Sanders, and specifically Deion and Travis. Consider that a dry run for what's happening from here on out for Colorado. This is pressure that Deion Sanders has never faced, right? He's been in World Series games. He's been in Super Bowls. He's been at the elite level of two major sports, the two biggest sports in the country. And I believe that because the NBA is overcovered. That's a whole different story. Can you succeed at this level in the same way you succeeded on each of those fields? I think he can. And I never thought I'd say this. But when I was a kid, his nickname was Neon Deion. It was not prime time. It was not Coach Prime, although it was kind of prime time. But here in Atlanta, when we had the Braves and Deion was on the team in 91, 92, 93, it was Neon Deion, those Atlanta Journal-Constitution pages that came out. I had my doubts, but it's his time to shine. Can he prove the haters wrong? Can he look in a camera at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Central time, and bring out all those receipts and say, look, all you guys who doubted me, you were wrong. I know this is not the same Utah team that we thought it'd be before the season. I thought Utah would win the Big 12. Obviously, that was with Cam Rising, and the whole thing is kind of falling apart. But with the shine, the light on him, as bright as it has been, this is his time to show that he is not sizzle and steak. He is all steak. I thought he was all sizzle and no steak. I could be wrong, and you can show it at big noon / 10 a.m. Mountain Time Saturday. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now you can bet $5 if you're a new customer and get $150 in bonus bets if that $5 bet hits. The FanDuel Sports app gives you everything you need right there in one place, so you can place bets on the NFL and everywhere else right there on the same spot. So if you're getting a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, play-by-play trends, all that stuff right there where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get $150 in bonus bets with that first $5 wager. Only if it hits, though. It's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Time to shine. It is still time to shine. All right. To the moon. What does that mean? It means Rocket Sanders. One of the best stories this year, it's kind of been undercovered, has been South Carolina and what it has done in a year where I never thought Shane Beamer was actually on the hot seat, but there was some of that talk, right? It was out there. But I think for the most part, people within that administration, within that building, knew that he was fine-ish. Like a 3-9 record gets a lot of people fired, right? But if they were competitive, he'd be fine. And they're way more than competitive. But now they're going in against a Missouri team that is in do or die mode. Because and Eli Drinkwitz said this after the press conference last week. He was basically saying, hey, remember us in the playoff? Remember us? We just beat Oklahoma. Wild game. Still 2-loss team. Can still get in. He's right. Missouri is technically still in the playoff race. They're desperate. Eli knows it. Eli's going to empty the tank offensively, whether Brady Cook plays or not. Whether it's Pine or Cook, does not matter. Eli's going to empty the tank because he understands a resounding win in South Carolina, the Columbia that's in South Carolina, a resounding win there at the Willie B will mean a lot in the minds of the playoff committee. So it doesn't matter if it's Brady Cook or Drew Pine. Don't care. Rocket Sanders better be ready because if Missouri's going to empty the tank, Rocket Sanders is going to have to keep that offense on the sideline. The best way to do that, like we've heard Brent Key say multiple times, run the damn ball. And what's interesting about South Carolina this year, and we talk about them being a great story, they are a diet version of Auburn in 2013. And I say a diet version because Lenore Sellers is not the most accomplished passer. He's okay. He can do some things. And they find a way to put him in position where he can get out on the edge, roll out and find, give him half field reads. He's done a pretty good job of that. And then obviously Rocket Sanders is the centerpiece of that offense, kind of like Nick Marshall and Trey Mason for Auburn in 2013. But in order for that to work, Rocket's got to be the man. He's got to go to the moon. Cryptocurrencies are to the moon right now. It's a phrase that I've been saying as a crypto investor for a long time. Rocket Sanders has to go to the moon too. He's got to follow that Bitcoin straight up. He's got to follow that Solana coin straight up. And he's been doing it. So Rocket Sanders is this is a big game for South Carolina. Obviously, we knew what happened against Texas A&M. That put South Carolina on the map this year. Well, again, this is another chance to prove that this team can prove a lot of doubters wrong and make a statement to the world that in this new era of college football, when there are no divisions, and in the SEC, Texas and Oklahoma are sucking up a lot of the air, that it can still compete. Because as we've seen this year, if you're a 2-loss SEC team, you're going to be in this mix. And I'd say that's going to be the case every single year. They're going to put that tiebreaker to the test. And South Carolina, it's not going to happen this year, but they can get in that discussion consistently with Shane Beamer at the helm. Not a lot of people thought of that, but they can prove it again with a win over Missouri. That will only happen if Rocket Sanders takes them where? To the moon. To the moon. Pony up. Pony up. It's time to shine. Rhett Lashley. I love Rhett Lashley. I've had him on this show before. I've known him for a very long time. One of the best coaches in the country and probably the nicest coach in the country. Maybe Mac Brown's nicer, but still, Rhett's up there. He's got I don't know if he ever expected to be in this situation in year one at SMU. Undefeated in the ACC going into mid-November. If you listen to the show, I told you that could happen. I told you that would happen. Now, the loss to BYU keeps looking better and better. So we're talking about SMU not just in the ACC title race, but in the college football playoff race. But this is pressure that Rhett hasn't had before as a head coach. He's had it as an assistant in multiple places. But this is new ground. Miami lost. Clemson's fallen off the face of the earth. Not fallen face. They've fallen off a little bit. In my mind, SMU has more or less clinched a spot in the ACC championship game because I don't see their floor being that low. And now they're playing a Boston College team that has a massive quarterback issue. He cannot let his foot off the gas. And I don't think he will. Knowing him the way I do, I think he understands, hey, you know what? It's going to be like, remember the Titans. Run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt. They know they need that. SMU knows that being one of the first two out, which they are with Georgia, who's going to get the benefit of the doubt in that situation? If it comes into a conversation, it's going to be Georgia. It shouldn't. I mean, maybe SMU has a better record. I think SMU is probably a better football team, but the name brand doesn't exist. And what have we talked about on the show quite a bit? Name brand matters. SMU doesn't have it. Georgia does. SMU doesn't have it. A lot of the teams that are going to be fighting for that 12th spot will have it. So it isn't just Rhett Lashley's job to win this game. It's his job to look like a college football playoff caliber team in this game. And I'm talking about defense, but I'm specifically talking about his offense, keeping its foot on the gas for a full 60 minutes. And I think he can do it. I think this game will get extremely sideways. I'm talking like 5 shots at the bar followed by 10 beers falling sideways off the bar stool. That's where we are. We'll take a break. We'll coming back. We'll wrap up the show. It's College Football Smothered and Covered. Powered by Locked On. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. They have the Game Time guarantee, so you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They have job loss assurance as well. If you lose your job, you need a refund. Game Time, they have you covered. They have event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled or rescheduled, 24-hour return guarantee. Return your tickets within 24 hours of the time of purchase, and a full credit will be given to your Game Time account. No questions asked. It's the only ticketing app that gives you peace of mind with your purchase. Filter only incredible deals on great seats with the Game Time Picks feature. See the view from your seat on your phone before you buy your ticket. Plus, all-in pricing shows your total cost up front. So back in the day, you go to other ticketing sites, you spend, $15 on a standing room only ticket at a baseball game. Oh, suddenly it's $35. Where did that come from? At Game Time, you don't get any of that. Buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That is LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Hey, we got Friday 5 picks coming up tomorrow. And let me tell you, Friday 5 picks, it's been a roller coaster on the show. We've gone 0-5. We've gone 5-1. We've gone 1-4. We've gone 4-1. Now we're sitting there at 28-27 against the spread after a 4-1 week last week. So we'll have Friday 5. Try to keep that momentum going. Hey, don't forget, you can sign up for the subtext group. You can see that in the description below. The links are right there, whether you're on video or you're listening on the audio version. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share this show with all of your friends. Of course, this is a revamped edition of SEC Smothered and Covered, which was unceremoniously halted in 2018 after, we had like 6, 7, 8,000 subscribers. Lots of reasons still not happy about that. Animosity, money. A lot of things went wrong with that one. So appreciate it. Share the show. And of course, thank you for making this your first listen. Hey, for your second listen, go check out Locked On College Football. Spencer McLaughlin does a great job over there. You can also check out any of our conference channels and of course, the specific team channels as well. So no matter what you are, what team you're a fan of, Locked On has you covered. Like I said, Friday 5 coming up in 24 hours. Until then, have a great day.